Good morning, my dear children, and welcome back for your moral science classes. I, Mrs. Suman Shrivastava, will be teaching you Moral Science, Chapter 3 for this week. As you all know that this is the last chapter of your portion for the midterm. 3 chapters are coming for your exam, that is Moral Science Chapter 1, 2 and 3. Already 2 chapters have been taught to you by the other teachers. Now I will be continuing with the 3rd chapter. Dear children, Moral Science exam for the midterm will have 20 marks MCQ questions, only objective, no subjective questions will come. So you have to go through the chapters very nicely as well as the notes which we have given to you, like true, false, fill in the blanks, question answers, word meanings. All these things you have to see and you have to learn very carefully and nicely. Why I am saying question answers? Because from the question answers also we can take one word type of questions, and from in between of the chapter also. Okay? So dear children, you have to work hard, you have to study well for your exam. So let's start with the 3rd chapter from your moral science book. The name of the 3rd chapter is True Faith in God. First of all, I'll be telling you true faith in God means. What do you mean by true? True means in Hindi, Sacha. Is it? So true faith in God. How we people are having faith in God? Why we people are having faith in God? Do everybody have faith in God? What you people think? According to me, I think so that yes, we all are having faith in God. Because whatever is there in this world, everything we got from God. Even now, when we are not feeling well, when we are upset, when we are happy, or when we need someone to hear us, and when we want to disclose our secret to someone, where we go? We go to God. We tell God everything. That's why God is there who help us whenever we need. He help us if we are in trouble. That's why we are telling that yes, we are having faith in God. But there are many people, children, those who have faith in God but in a very different kind of way. Means when they think, okay, I want something, so I should have to go to God and tell that God, I want this. Or I'm not feeling well, okay God, I'm not feeling well, you should have to help me. Where are you? Why I'm not able to see you? Why you're not listening to me? But when we are happy, we are not asking God. We are not even asking that God, I'm happy just because of you. We are not even thinking, we are not even thanking that God, thank you. You have given me everything, whatever I want. Is it? So that is how people are there in the world. But there are many good people also. I hope you all are having the moral science book. If you haven't bought, kindly buy it, because exams are very nearby and you all will be needing the book. Okay? So I'll be reading the book for you. Once there lived in Iran a rich man who did not believe in God. His family members and friends tried to make him understand the value of faith in the Almighty. He turned a deaf ear to them. The man was too proud to believe in God. He often boasted about his richness and said that there was no need for a God in his life. He bragged that whatever he was, was due to his own efforts. So here's a story given that once there lived in Iran a very rich man, and he was the man who did not believe in God. His family members and friends, every time they were trying to make him understand the real faith in God, faith in Almighty. Almighty means God. But every time he turned his deaf ear to them. He ignored whatever the relatives and friends were telling him. He was very proud. He was proud. Proud means, in a way you can say in Hindi, ghamandi. Okay, so he was very proud that I don't want to believe in God. Because whatever I'm having now, I'm having with my hard work, not of God's hard work. And every time the rich man boasted means show off. Okay, every time the rich man, he boasted of his richness. And he said that I don't need any God in my life. And many a times he bragged. Bragged means say something in a boastful manner. Say something in a boastful manner. So many a time he bragged that whatever he was having was just because of his own efforts. Just because of his own efforts. Efforts means determined attempt. In Hindi it is called as prayas. Okay. Next para. One day the rich man had invited some of his friends for a party. While the celebration was in progress, all of a sudden a strong wind began to blow. Soon the wind grew into a furious storm. It blew away the roof of many houses and uprooted several trees in the neighborhood. So one day what happened? This rich man, he invited his friends for a party. He threw a party and he invited some of his friends. And while the celebration was going on, all of a sudden a strong wind began to blow. And what happened? Soon the wind, it grew into a angry storm, a very furious and angry storm. And what the wind started to do? The wind started to blow away the roof of many houses, as well as uprooted several trees in the neighborhood. Uprooted means pull out of the ground. Okay, the wind was so high, so angry, and it turned into storm, and it started to blew away many roofs of the houses, as well as uprooted many trees from the ground. Then what happened? See, the rich man's house also began to shake. Overcome by fear, his friends began to leave one by one. The rich man was left all alone in the room. He felt so frightened and helpless that his hands spontaneously went up in prayer. He closed his eyes and uttered a prayer to God. It was a prayer that came from the core of his heart. He prayed for the safety of his house and family. All at once, the storm subsided. The rich man and his family members were safe. He realized that God had heard his prayer. He became a believer and developed a devout faith in God. So here it's given that the rich man's house, it also began to shake because of the storm, the angry storm. And overcoming by fear, his friends, they began to leave one by one. Okay, and rich man was all alone left in the room. So he was very frightened. Frightened means dar. Okay, he was very frightened and he was feeling helpless. So automatically what happened? Here spontaneously. In Hindi it is called as swabhavik. And in English its meaning is as a result of sudden impulse. As a result of sudden impulse. Okay, so automatically Spontaneously, his hands went up in prayer because he was very scared and frightened. He closed his eyes and he said a prayer to God. And it was the prayer that came from the core of his heart, from the bottom of his heart, from inside of his heart. And what he prayed for the safety of his house and family. Then after his prayer, what happened? All of a sudden, the storm stopped. Subsided means less violent. The storm, it just became very calm and quiet. And what happened after that? The rich man and his family members were safe from this storm. After this only he realized that God had heard his prayer. And from that time onwards, he also became a believer of God, as well as he developed a religious faith in God. Devote means religious. Okay? Next para. True faith in God works wonders. God answers the prayers of a person who trusts in Him. Faith in God is the real key to a happy and peaceful life. It enables one to overcome every kind of fear. It aids him in facing any sort of adverse situation. So what is given over here? That true faith in God works a lot. It creates wonders. And God answers the prayers of those people who has real trust in God. And what is the line, perfect line given over here? That faith in God is the real key to a happy and peaceful life. And it enables one to overcome every kind of fear. If we are having faith in God, then we can overcome from any kind of fear, from any kind of sorrow or depression. Only the one thing we should have, that is, we should have faith in God. And just because of this faith in God, a person, if facing any sort of unfavorable condition, adverse means unfavorable, situation means condition, then all these unfavorable condition can be sorted out if we are having faith in God. Next para. Generally we say that we have faith in God. It is true. But very often this faith is weak and insufficient. When problems come our way, we begin to ignore Him or even speak against Him. Some people even begin to doubt the very existence of God. Such people, instead of placing their trust in God, tend to rely on their own strength. They prefer to trust in material things and worldly powers. So what is given away here then? Casually we all are saying that yes, we have faith in God, and it is true also. But very often what we people do, the faith becomes weak and insufficient. How? I told you in the beginning also that when we need something, that yes, this should be in our life, or I want this, then only we are remembering God. And when we don't want anything, we are very happy, at that time we are ignoring Him. So that what is given over here, that when problems come in our way, at that time we begin to ignore God. And every time we speak against Him. And we think that whatever problem is there in our life, it is just because of God. If God wanted, then I won't have any problem in my life. I would be happy ever always. Is it? And many people, when they are in trouble, they starting having doubt in the existence of God. They used to say that really, is there any God in this country or in this world or in this universe? Oh, if really God is there, then He will come to help me in my trouble. And such people, instead of placing their trust in God, they just rely on their own strength. That is, they rely means to be dependent on own strength. They're starting up depending upon their own strength because they think that God is nowhere. I'm alone. And whatever I'm doing, that is my hard work. And from that time onwards, that person used to stop trusting God. And what they used to do, they prefer to trust in material things and worldly powers. Next para. We should never lose faith in God, nor should we place our trust solely on worldly things. Worldly powers can never give us lasting happiness or peace. All material things ultimately get destroyed, but God's power is eternal and ever active. Whenever we are in trouble, we must turn to God. He is all powerful and omnipresent. Although we cannot see or feel God with our external senses, we can experience His divine presence and power with our soul. Many incidents in life make us believe in the power of God. Often God speaks to us through the events that take place around us, and even through accidents. Certain events awaken and sustain in us a strong faith in the Almighty. It is this abiding faith that gives us the strength to leave the present and the hope to work for the future. So here it's given that we should never lose faith in God, and we shouldn't place our trust only on the worldly things. Solely means only, one. So we shouldn't place our trust only on the worldly things. Worldly power means, you understood? Worldly things means all the materialistic things which gives us luxury. Pen, pencil, chair, AC, all these are worldly things. We feel happy when we are having car in our house. We feel happy when we are having AC in our house. Is it? So all these are worldly materials. So whatever worldly powers are there, but it can never give us lasting happiness or peace. Only God's faith, our faith in God only can give us lasting happiness. Because all this materialistic thing, one day it will get destroyed. Either it will get destroyed, or else we people, we will die and we will leave all these things over here only, and only our soul will go up, not our body, and not the things that we have buy. Sofa, bed, AC, chairs, dining, almirah, wardrobe, nothing. We are not going to take anything when we'll die. So either all these materialistic things ultimately get destroyed, or else when we will die, we will leave all these things and will go to God. So the God's power is eternal and ever active. It is God only whose power is eternal and ever active. It's also given over here that whenever we are in trouble, every time we must turn to God instead of pointing on Him that what God has done for me. Instead of that, we must have to turn to God, because He is all powerful and omnipresent. Omnipresent means present everywhere. God is everywhere. That you people are learning from class 1. Although we cannot feel the presence of God, and although we cannot see God with our external senses, but we can experience His divine presence and power in our soul. We can experience that. And many incidences also that comes in our life make us believe in the power of God. That incident could be good, that incident could be bad. And many a times God speaks to us through many events or through many ways. Maybe God can speak to us in a good way, or God wants to tell us through anything, through the accidents, or through any kind of happy moment. That means God also tries to talk to us. And there are many events. There are certain events that awaken and sustain. Awaken means arose and sustain means strength. So there are many events which make us to awake from our sleep and gives us the strength as a strong faith in the Almighty God. And it is this abiding faith. Abiding means lasting a long time. And this is the abiding faith. This is the last long time faith that gives us the strength to leave the present and to hope that whatever work we will do for the future also will be good. Last para. Faith in God is a true companion at all times. It lights up our hearts and makes us recognize God's love for us. True faith in the divine providence lessens our pains and vanishes our sorrows. It consoles us in adverse situations and nurses true devotion in us. A person can grow in holiness only with the help of faith. It is through true faith that we can attain heavenly bliss or moksha. So what is given over here that faith, if we have faith in God, it is only a true companion for us for all times. If we are having real faith in God, then God will be our companion throughout our life. Whenever we are needing Him, we can call Him. And it is the faith only which lights up our hearts and makes us recognize that yes, we are having love for God. And this true faith in the divine providence. Providence means protective care of God. Providence means protective care of God. So this true faith in the divine protective care of God, this only lessens our pains. This lets down our pain and vanishes means finish off. Vanishes our sorrows. And it also consoles. Consoles means comfort. Okay, when we are sad, somebody is coming and consoling us. Okay, why you're not feeling well? Why you are sad? Tell me. And then you people are telling your things to that person. And that person used to console you, make you comfortable in that situation, in whatever situation you are. So that consoles means comfort. So it consoles us in adverse situation. Adverse situation I already told you, in unfavorable situations or condition. And this faith only nurses true devotion in us for God. And a person can grow in holiness only with the help of faith. A person can become a good person having good life with the presence of God, with the holiness, only with the help of faith. And it is through faith only that we can attain heavenly bliss. Heavenly bliss means what? Great joy. So it is this true faith only that we can attain the heavenly great joy or moksha. I hope you all understood. So what you learned from this story and from this chapter, we learnt that we should have faith in God whether we are in trouble or we are happy. And every day when we get up, we should have to thank God. That God, thank you that you have given me such a nice sleep. And whenever you people go to bed at night, you should have to tell everything to God. That God, how are you? Are you fine or not? See, from the morning I did all these things. What you have done. Maybe God will talk to you someday. Or He will reply. But you have to tell everything to God before going to sleep. If you have done something wrong, or if you have any happiest moment on the day, whatever is going on, that you should have to tell to God before sleeping. And you have to say thank you to God. That thank you God. Today my day was very nice. Many troublesome things happened. But now I'm perfectly alright and I'm going to sleep. Understood, my dear children? Thank you.